Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse pregame show of the very first official game of the brand new season for the New York Knicks. Joined by my good friend and brilliant NBA analyst and draftologist, Stephen Fox. Welcome, brother.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to you. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Knicks fans everywhere. Let's go. Can't wait. New York Knicks basketball.
Can't wait, man. I'm so pumped, so hyped for this season, actually. I'm much more excited than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, I'm like a little kid. I woke up, my wife says, "Boy, you're excited." And I went, "Yeah, I really am. I can't wait. I just love hoops, and I love Jalen, and I love RJ, and I think we can do a lot this year."
I think so. We're going to have an interesting show. Foxy and I are going to throw out our sane predictions and our zany predictions. So our saney and zany, totally wacky predictions. Some of them are pretty realistic. I mean, they're all kind of realistic. The sane ones. Then the insane ones are a lot of fun. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Very excited so excited to be starting this. Shout out to Lex the Destroyer, best mod around. Thank you, man.
Legendary.
Yeah, thank you for holding it down. Connor Tooling, good to see you, brother. New Yorker, D Nice. What's up, brother? We survey 100 people. Good to see you, man. All right. Won't be able to see the games anymore. Well, we're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to just tune in here to find out what happens, D Nice.
Hi, D. Hope all is well, man.
We'll get it going, man. Salute to the chat. That's right. Salute to the chat, everybody. Let's go. Excuse me here. Let's see if we got anything it's already in the chat that's fun. Nothing like opening night. Okay, let's see what JTA says. Nothing like opening night, boys. I'm feeling great about this year's group. Brunson leads the first five. Rose leads the second unit until IQ takes the reins of Mob Deep. Love it. Love that. I think I want to hear your feelings about what actually like the deal with Thibs and how come he seemed to have changed his position or softened his stance from the beginning of the training camp to now in terms of the young guys and rotations and all of that. Maybe you don't feel that he did change. Maybe you don't. I thought he had. I thought he kind of altered it a little bit. What were your feelings about that?
Well, we'll find out for sure tonight whether it was a smokescreen and we get back Tibbs. But I don't know if he has much of a choice. This is the roster that he has, and it's comprised. He doesn't have Taj, doesn't have Burks, doesn't have some of the guys that he can go. So he has no other choice than to rely on these young guns.
It's true. That's but you know how he is. It's about minutes.
It is, and I'm nervous. I'm hoping that we are a very deep roster, and you did some brilliant work last year in your show showing statistically how these guys had no legs. He was running them into the ground. We couldn't close and all these things. So that's why I'm hoping that he evolves as a coach and learns and says, you know what, Randall, nothing's wrong playing 30 or 29 minutes and we giving some extra minutes to Obi and some other things, but you're my closer, Julius, and other things. Like, this is about us, winning. So, I'm just really, really excited about everything.
Good. Me too. I think, his choices are limited, but like we said, he can literally play Brunson and Randall 35 minutes a game, and RJ as well, and then leave no room for anybody else.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, folks, is that he truly has his floor general of his choice now. He had Peyton, he had all these other choices. Now he has an extension to him with Jalen on the floor. So I think obviously he's new to the team, but he's wicked smart, Jalen. He's going to pick up stuff. He's going to learn in a very short time, but he's a different type of player than Tibbs has had. And I think that's going to be, it's going to work in Tibbs' favor.
I think so. I think so. And that's probably what the whole plan was all along, which is why they went crazy after him. One thing I did get some pushback on this idea that we should have held on to the 11th pick in the 22nd draft. My feeling was the biggest mistake was using that pick to get off of contracts to open up space for Brunson, which they didn't need to do that to bring Brunson in, and to flip it and acquire 3 protected first-round picks, whose value is way lower than the 11th pick we actually had already. I think we should have kept that. What was your final feeling upon that, looking back?
Yeah, you and I are brothers that we from day one said, hey, they had their eyes set on Jaden Ivey, and you and I had our eyes set on Benedict Mathurin. So, and that's a difference of a number of spots. So I think we could have maybe used our resources and went after Benedict Mathurin, and if not, staying put, you and I love Terry Eason.
Yeah.
And, you know, even
AJ Griffin is shooting well, is playing well.
Shooting magnificent.
Yeah.
Just magnificent.
It's just whether he'll have enough speed to succeed. That's the main question there. But
yeah, the only reason with Eason, you and I, is that he's that lockdown defender, 7'3" wingspan that has a nasty attitude. That rebounds, does all these things, that covers 2, 3, 4, whatever. And it's like, yo, that's the guy that we want.
Yep. And the thing is, also, as you can see what Danny Ainge did, he picked up Walker Kessler and Ochai Agbaji, both draft picks picked lower than our pick. And Danny Ainge viewed that as acquiring an additional first-round pick, because they're here in this year. They have another year under protection, which is what it's all about.
Yep.
And so even if we had drafted it, that draft pick could have been an additional inducement to bring in, that guy, Donovan, who's now in Cleveland. But that was the past. Now we're going to look towards the future, Foxy. The future looks good. I'm loving it. And we're going to begin with, this is the Knicks 2022-23 predictions. I'm going to start off with probably the most controversial one right here. Let's go. Here we go. All right. This is it. My sane prediction is Fournier will start every game. Now, by every game, I mean, if he gets hurt, obviously he can't start. But I think he's going to start every game, unfortunately. But my insane prediction, my zany prediction, is that Fournier does not step up defensively. He's tired from all the basketball he's been playing for the past 2 years. Because remember, they also played Euroball. So these guys are exhausted. Last year was a very short off season, and they just basically played almost all the way through. And then he kept playing afterwards. And didn't they play Olympic basketball? So Fournier played Olympic basketball last season. Then this summer he played Euro basketball. Mm-hmm. The guy's exhausted. His shot may not be there. And if it's not there, and we know what Grimes is going to do, I think by the end of this season, the crazy prediction is Fournier is gone. He's traded. And actually, Cam Reddish lives like a cat with 9 lives, and he replaces Fournier in the rotation, not in the starting unit. That's my Saney and Zany. What are your thoughts about that one, Foxy?
I could see, hey, he started Elfrid Payton, so why wouldn't he start Fournier every game? But Reddish, hey, with the Grimes out and everything, hey, like he said, he's gaining another shot at showing Tibbs on the defensive front and doing what he can on the offense. So I'm rooting for him. Hey, I root for all these young guys. So obviously Cam's not the shooter Fournier is, but he does a lot of other things, especially with that incredible prototype size, 6'8", 7 foot plus wingspan. So Yeah, I love them. I think they're entertaining.
Entertaining. Yeah, this is more for fun.
Yeah.
This one. It's neither here nor there, but I mean, we all know how I feel about that stuff. Let's go to the next zany slide. This is Foxy's predictions. Foxy, you're on.
Yeah, I brought up that I have great respect for Vegas bookies, and when I went through the schedule, uh 38 games, I'm trying to learn about Tibbs, and I think Tibbs is very nervous about our shooting, especially our 3-point shooting. We lost Burks. D Rose shot great during our playoff run, but can he replicate that? And the outlier of Randall a couple of years ago, he shot well, but then he went back to around a little less than league average. So that's what I'm concerned about. That Randall will not be shooting open threes on kickouts from Brunson. But at the same token, my zany is, hey, if everything's put together, I love thinking about the Memphis team of last year with Tyus Jones. They were 21-6 with Ja Morant out of the lineup. And when you think about that team, they had Tyus Jones, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Jared Jackson, and Adams. Hey, folks, are you serious? So I absolutely think that, Brunson, Evan or Grimes, when he comes back, RJ, Randall and Mitch stack up really well against that lineup that went 21-6 against other teams. And their second team of Melton, Williams, Anderson, who's no longer there, Clark and Tillman. Shoot, I absolutely think that D Rose, and again, I'm excited about D Rose because of the built-in minutes management of Jalen Brunson. Tibbs is going to be playing him 34 minutes. So that 14 minutes is optimal for D Rose. He came in 20 pounds lighter at his rookie weight, and he's sensational. So if he can play, minutes management, can keep that sort of Rose, IQ, whether Cam, Obi, and iHeart. I think that's a good comparison to that team that went 21-6 on Memphis. So it starts with defense. If we play good defense and we're hitting our shots, smart shots, and I'm calling it the Brunson effect, I think we could win 47 games if everything in Randall stays good behavior. And hey, the thing that I love about Brunson, and this is what I think is going to have an impact on culture. He made a comment that we're not in the mode of really caring who gets credit. That's a great way to approach the game, especially coming into the regular season. We got to keep thinking like that. So if people don't care about if they're the third or first option, and they just care about winning basketball, anything could happen, and it starts with defense.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt this right now, but Steve Popper just tweeted out that Quentin Grimes said MRI didn't show any fracture or serious injury. Just trying to prevent that by resting completely. Says he's basically day-to-day, not ruling out home games coming up. So
no, thank you for doing that. In fact, I've been felt helpless. Like, is it plantar fascia? What is the ailment? I know it's a sore foot, but sore from what?
Yeah, I don't know. But he says MRI was clean.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. We owe you one.
Yeah. That's good news. Well, Foxy, I went through the schedule and I predicted 47 games. I think the Knicks can go 47-35. That's my best prediction. But when it comes down to my sane, like the low end, 41 games. I think we can be a 500 team. I think at bare minimum, we can be a 500 team, which is really only 3 wins more than what you were saying as your floor.
Yep.
Now, my zany would be we get that 50 burger.
Yeah.
This team it starts clicking, and we end up with 4 guys all shooting near 40% or more from the 3-point line. Randall somehow recovers his 3-point at least enough to be 35%. And the team we're going to get into some stats about defense and all that. I think defensively, we're going to be a very, very good team, very strong team. And I think there was one slide I wanted to do. It didn't do it. As part of this, in terms of all-stars, my sane prediction for an all-star is we have one all-star. My insane one is 3. What's your? Do you think we have any chance of someone getting on the all-star team this year?
I don't think it's crazy. I think 2. I could see RJ making it, and I could see Brunson making it. And hey, Randall's already been there, so I don't think it's out of, he's been there, so it's not like he's not capable. If RJ's efficient, he's there, man. He hits his foul shots. He's a 23 point a game scorer at a young age. And Brunson coming into his own, we know he's a mid-range assassin. This guy's a blink away, 50, 40, 90, folks. So if they play the way they're capable of playing, I think it's not zany at all.
Totally. So I want to hear in the chat what you guys think about this. Like, what's your high and your low for the team this year? Predictions. All right, let's go to the next slide. This one is Foxy. Oh, I like this one a lot. So Foxy's zany prediction is the Knicks will have a top 5 defense. His zany is the Knicks will have a top 2 defense.
Yep. So, hey, folks, we were a top 11 defense last year. A lot of people don't realize that. So with Kemba and all the other things that we had, we are top 11. So with Jalen, I think that's why Grimes is so important for us to get him back at that too. But hopefully another year with Fournier learning the scheme, the defensive scheme. But hey, folks, we were a top defense just a couple of years ago, and that was with Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock. So I think it's something that could be, that's capable of happening.
All right. I mean, I see a top 5 defense being very possible. For sure. I mean, top 2, hey, anything's possible, honestly. The way that first of all, we got the right coach for this.
Absolutely.
And we got young guys who have shown in season get better. So like during the season and then off seasons, they make nice leaps. But even in season, we saw the transformation of Obi in his rookie year. He started out, he looked so lost, he looked clueless out on the court. But by the end of it, things started clicking together for him. And he had a nice summer league. Then he came out last season, once again, kind of got off to somewhat slow start, but he'd be playing great. And then Thibs would pull him, because he had to get Randall back out on the court. So it interrupted Obi's flow. But look at him by the end of the season. Defensively, understanding where to be on the court, how to position his body. I mean, that kind of stuff. I see that up and down from the whole. And that's probably why Cam has been somewhat of a disappointment to Thibs, because maybe he hasn't seen that kind of leap from him. But I'm expecting everybody to up their game defensively this season.
Yeah. And the thing I'm excited about is the joy in Mitch. All that goodness that we're going to see from assists from Brunson, from RJ, and from Fournier, and from everybody else is going to bring him that smile on his face. I think we know he's an elite offensive rebounder, but I think he's going to go to the next level, becoming that defensive, flagship defensive anchor that we've been waiting for, or he has been, but he's going to go to the next level. Those hops are back, that bounce. I really think that, and he said something in an interview from, I don't know if it's a maturity or whatever, but he talked about communication, talking on that defensive front for them to be as, and a couple of years ago, the person who spoke the most when we were a top defense was Reggie Bullock. He was a quarterback there. So I'd love to see Robinson and a few of the other guys. We want to hear that chatter, them talking, defensive assignments. So I'm really excited about us watching the maturation of Mitchell Robinson before our eyes.
Oh, hey, someone predicted here. Here we go. JTA. Same prediction. Mitchell Robinson wins MIP and makes first or second team all defense.
Yo, I like the way you think, JTA.
I like that. He's looking fantastic.
He is.
Yeah. It took a while. I think the foot, it just took a while. Then he put on the extra weight and his conditioning wasn't there. He basically spent all last season getting back into game shape. but now you can see that that electric hop that he had 2 seasons ago. That's exciting. So you combine that with his skill maturation he's had, and we heard he's been working with Othello Harrington.
Yeah, he's made a difference in a very short time, man.
Yeah, that's I loved hearing that. Definitely loved hearing that. And then Lex comes in with Mitch for DPOY. Yes, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's dream big, guys. Let's dream big. Let's dream big, because 2 years ago, at the beginning of the season, we had no idea what was going to happen. Then Randall becomes All NBA. Knicks get 4th seed. What the hell? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. That's the fun part about sports. Guys make leaps, and it's just exciting. It's sad when it goes the other way.
Yeah, but I love that Jalen talking. We got to leave it on the court, man. Whatever it takes, and that dog mentality is what builds great teams.
Absolutely. All right. Well, before we get to the next ones, gotta fix that here. Shout out to the chat, you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for us, and follow us on Twitter. Foxy's on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
Fox Sports Talk.
There you go.
So at Fox Sports Talk. Awesome. And also, don't forget, Sundays, Sports Vibe TV at 6:15 p.m. Keith and I, our weekly Knicks rumors, news, and analysis.
Yep, can't miss that show. But the best live on definitely on the weekend. I love it.
Thank you. Much obliged,
guys. Yeah, man. All right, well let's get to the next Zany and Zany. Here we go. And this one is this is mine. Knicks will have a top 15 offense. That's the same. Then the Zany, Knicks will have a top 6 offense. And that's if we get the 40% plus 3-point shooters. We move the ball. We play at a quicker pace. However, you can see I tweeted out something about the preseason stats. Knicks were first in everything, basically everything that mattered, all the efficiency stats and everything, but 30th in pace. So all this talk about playing faster, we didn't really see it. However, they are playing faster compared to themselves last season. So I think that's a better way to look at it in terms of that. And I really think that this team has the potential, because we got, let's say, all best case scenarios, right? Randall returns to the player he was 2 years ago without having to be the point forward. So all of the other positive stuffs while having had the burden of the playmaking on him. And yet those times when it's needed from him, he can still do that. And now I'm seeing a lot of chemistry between him and RJ. I like the vibe between him and Brunson, and he already had developed a nice little 2-man thing with Fournier, and I see him now looking for Mitch more. I pointed out some plays in some of the post games where, like in the past, the lane was just so congested. Now, Mitch is in the corner on some plays, or Mitch doesn't have a foot in the paint when someone's about to drive. He's looking for the offensive rebound. He's an extra step or two away to pull that defender away, and that's opening up the paint. And definitely needed with a Jalen Brunson. What are your feelings about the offense in terms of?
We were 22nd last year, and what George said was pretty much replicating our playoff year of just a couple of years ago, where we had 4. We had Rose, Burks, RJ, and Randall, 440 plus percentage shooters from 3. So if we could replicate that, absolutely. And also, like George was saying, I saw a beautiful little pick and pop with Fournier, with Randall taking a little jumper from the foul line. Sweet. I love him shooting more 2s. Than having to take a lot more 3s. I like him taking 3s, but I like him a higher mix of him taking 2s, higher percentage shot, and really love that. And also, folks, 2 years ago during his second team All NBA season, he led the league in assists for corner 3s. He has the right guy now with Jalen Brunson to replicate that again. So and you could have one on, Brunson on one side, RJ in the corner on the other. They're both so it could be lethal with them moving that ball. And also, like you were saying about Mitch, hey, it'd be beautiful for us to have a cutter on this offense for once, especially on the first team.
Totally. Oh man, I mean, just first of all, the passing more. I mean, assists are up on this team. Turnovers are down. We only averaged like 21 assists or something last season or whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
In the preseason, we were around 25, 26, and it would have been higher, really, if the starters had played more.
Yeah, exactly.
They were really. Other things that I noticed were turnovers. Turnovers have been cut way down. And that's because the ball's in Brunson's hand a lot more than it is in Randall's hands. So a lot of the things that frustrated us in the past, well, even 2 seasons ago as well, those things have been addressed this year. And then there's RJ. RJ is he's kind of the known unknown. The only thing that's unknown is how good is he going to be this year? Is he going to have carry over that efficiency that he had in the preseason? Looks like it. That's the one thing. Efficiency shouldn't be something that gets thrown off. It be predicated whether you're playing a real game or a fake game. You know, it's all concentration and it's rhythm and it's mechanics and it's decision making. All of that seems to be there for RJ. So he could, like you were saying, what'd you say, throwing 23 points a game?
Yeah. And that's
it could even be higher. I mean, let's just be honest. It could be as high as 27 points a game.
If he shoots 80% from the foul line, you damn
Bingo.
right it. Yeah.
Bingo. Right there. Exactly. I mean, I didn't go through do the math or whatever, but literally. So let's say. So what did he shoot last year? 70% free throw.
He shot 71.4.
71.4. So let's tack on 10% on that, and then, oh man, that's gonna be beautiful. His 3-point shots. Last
he was 34.2.
34.2. He's gonna be back up to like. Well, he's going to shoot a high volume. Let's just to play, devil's advocate. Let's say 38%,
which is, league average last year was 35.4. So yeah, that exceeds that. Yeah. And
some
just
years is a little different. Like the bubble year or whatever was 37 or something. It was something crazy.
Yeah, but also with Tibbs, he loves that corner. The league average last year was 39.2 for left corner, 38.4 for right corner, and they shoot that well. So hopefully we'll be shooting those corner threes.
Yep. And his ability to finish has improved. So all of this all around, I mean, he picks up a couple points. He picks up 2-3 points more from the foul line. And also the better shooter you become, the more fouls you end up getting. People play you tighter, they play you stronger. If you're making if you're finishing at a high rate, you're going to get fouled a lot.
I think he'll be top 5 this year in going to the line.
Oof, that sounds beautiful.
He gets those fouls. So the other thing is, besides those points, is let him add a couple more dimes. So last year he was averaging about 3 assists. If he can get up to 5 or 6 assists, that brings his value even higher, man. That's
right. Totally. I mean, I see it's so possible he can score anywhere from 23 to 27, average that this year. He'll be the number 1 option. Brunson at any moment can make himself the number 1 option, but I think he's going to be approaching it where let's just get the best shot possible. And if that means it's RJ more often, then that is what it'll be. And it should be him. It should be RJ first, Brunson second, Randall third. Now those things can fluctuate depending on matchups.
Yeah. And Brunson, just to illustrate your point, he came down, you saw a switch with McConnell on RJ, got the ball immediately. He didn't have to put his hand up, RJ. He's like, there's a mismatch. So whether it's Randall or this guy will get the ball to the person that has the right mismatch for the best opportunity for us.
Absolutely. I love that. Man, did we suffer. I can't even believe our 2 starting point guards from the previous 2 seasons, they're not on a roster in the NBA right now. That just goes to show you.
Well, does that include Burks?
Not even Burks. I didn't even include Burks.
I know you did. I was just throwing that in there.
I mean, our opening night.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Kemba
and Elfrid.
Payton. Yeah, they can't get a job, but they were starting point guards.
But that goes to our point, folks, that Elfrid Payton can't get a job, but he was the point guard for a leading defensive team. So I think it's capable for us to do it, man. You know,
Totally. It is totally capable. I think it is. I mean, I think honestly, if we finish in the top 10 offense, we are rocking it.
if we do that, we're a very dangerous team.
Yes. So it's not out of realm of possibility. All right. Well, here, let's see. We got it's a light day. I'm surprised. Only 73 in the chat. The game begins at 7:30. We still got plenty of time, which is great. We'll talk about the Memphis game coming up, the first game against Ja. Actually, the Knicks are 2-3 against Ja and the Memphis. And one of those wins was that spectacular come from behind win, powered by RJ.
Yep.
RJ and actually Alec Burks, ironically, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, they have a great. For some reason, that Ja RJ is like. It's box office. It's a great matchup.
2-3.
Yeah, 2-3, and then Zion's finally gonna play in the NBA again. I'm really excited about that too. I'm happy for him.
Special talent, no doubt.
Yeah. It was. God, he was killing. He was killing that first rookie year. Tremendous. All right, let's hit that thumbs up button for us. Like I said, subscribe to the channel and to the Knicks-Verse. We do a pregame show in front of almost before every game. Every Knicks game, and we do alternate it though from Knicks-Verse and Sports Vibes TV. We'll be trying to do that again this season, and if not, you can always check here for it. All right, let's head back to the next slide, and this is a Foxy one. Foxy, take it over.
Yep. I think Jalen's going to have a profound impact on RJ, on Randall, and on Mitch, and on the team overall. I think he's going to be a stabilizing effect. Like we just said, he's going to get the ball to them in their spots. You know, we brought up Belford or Burks. They were getting the ball to Randall 20 feet from his spot, and then he'd dribble and make his play, and that's not what we want. Jalen's going to do the right thing, and I think that Jalen just doing what he's going to do, I think we're going to do the play in. But if everything goes right, like George says, if our 3 pointers drop, we're able to have a top, 11. Hey, folks, last year Dallas went to the Western Conference Finals with a top 15 offense. There was top 6 defense, and I think that's a good model for us to think about. So, like George was saying, so if we could hit those threes, make smarter plays, move that ball, we could be in the playoffs. So I think Jalen is one of the best acquisitions this team's made in God knows 400 years.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best free agent signings we've made, I would say. Other than, the last free agent signing that really turned out well for us was Julius Randle. He eventually became All NBA. Last season aside, but before that, Jalen Brunson been tremendous. He's exactly what this team needs in terms of offense. Defense, we're gonna see how it works. So far, he did okay in the preseason, but it's preseason. The competition wasn't that strong, so that's the one thing I'm still holding out to see how that works in terms of defensive end.
But the good part is, if somebody gets past that point of attack, gets by Brunson, we have Mitch there.
Yeah, we got the block nest monsters there.
Exactly,
ready to destroy people. I love that. I love when he's like on it like that. All right, let's get to the next slide here. I think this was mine. My Saney. Thibs overplays vets and gets axed. I believe if Thibs overplays the vets, then it means the team is struggling. And if it's struggling, I think it's going to fall apart. And then it'll mean Thibs gets beheaded as the Knicks coach. If by game 30, the Knicks are like, 7-23, it's going to be hard to hold this, keep him as the coach. However, if he embraces the young core, as he's been saying, and spreads those minutes around for all we know, especially all this shit we're talking about, top 10 offense, playoff bound, a couple of all-stars, everybody's responding. I could see Thibs winning Coach of the Year again.
Done it 2 times, so so the third time could be the charm, man.
Yeah, totally. The next one is, I love this. So, Foxy, you're gonna have to take us through this. Foxy, you developed this in the off season for us to showcase here, and so take us through it.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that if I was Tibbs and just being New York, like getting intense and stuff, I'd say to the guys, this is New York Knicks basketball, man. Last season we were 17-24 at home. Never again. This is our home. We can't ever allow that to happen. I'm never going to have a press conference again where I talk about energy. That the energy with Jalen, everybody here, this is New York Knicks. Our fans deserve it. We protect our home. That can never happen again. Last year, and George did brilliant work, like we said on this last season. We were last in third and fourth quarter points. So, and a lot of the starting team would come back. That's exhausting. There's nothing left in the tank. So he has to take that into account, that can never happen again, that he, like George just said, spread, have a higher rotation, spread the minutes like that. We were 26th in foul total percentage last year, last in 2-point percentage and assists. Never again. 2-point percentage is a higher percentage shot. We have to hit that mid-range shot. I know the league is all about 3-pointers, but there's a hell of a lot of 2-point shots. We can't be last. Free shots, foul total, we can't shoot that again, folks. We have to go back and shoot at least 77, 78%. And the assist, if we hit our shots, the assist numbers go up. And if we move the ball, and it starts with defense, we have to, I love when teams are indicative of the city that they play in. New York is a tough town. We don't play, all of us who played in the playground and stuff, we want that nasty to come back. A lot of us are Oakley and Mace and that type of defense. We want that type of, identity back of being a nasty defense. And especially you come to our home, you're going to be hurting. You have 6 fouls, and we're going to use every one of them in a hard way. And, leave it on the court, man. You got to show that energy, that motor, great ball movement, set solid screens, rebound, box out, all fundamentals, and make our shots. And as Tibbs says, not good shots, the best shot, whoever has the best shot. So this is just simulating that if it was Tibbs, what he has to say is like, you have to have pride. It's a really important word that this team, part of our culture is pride, that if you lose, we want it to hurt. We don't want you walking off with a smile on your face. That's not the type of players we want. We want it to hurt so it doesn't happen very often, not only at home, but on the road.
Absolutely. I love these. The one thing I'm worried about is like, where is the nasty going to come from?
Well, nasty sometimes doesn't have to be outward. Jalen was 7th in the league in charges last year with 44. He was number 1 in the playoffs. It's that nasty, is like putting your body out there, whatever it takes, your body, boxing, like I said, getting around screens. Hey, folks, it hurts getting around screens. You get black and blues. Those are some big dudes setting with their bases, setting screens and stuff. You have to want to play defense. So that's where it's like, coming into it's like, I don't care, man. I don't care if I bleed or whatever. I just want to win, whatever it takes.
Awesome. I think, who actually has some nasty? It's actually Randall.
Damn right he does.
He's
a scary dude.
Yeah. And there's definitely guys that he has like beefs with in the NBA. Sabonis.
Yep.
Who's another guy that he has a beef with? He doesn't have a beef with AD, but there's a bit of like a little competition thing between them. Both Kentucky guys played. Yep. They were teammates before. That's a healthy one. I think Giannis I think Giannis and Randall have a little thing too.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see much. They didn't. I don't think. Did they face each other last year?
Sure, they did.
I think Giannis was hurt. I can't remember exactly, but I know the year before, when the All NBA year, there was definitely a lot of competition there between those two. Thanks, Lex.
Yeah, thanks, Lex.
He's all over that.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. All right, I love this. I think, honestly, look at this. You just showed it right there. 26th in free throw percentage and last in 2-point percentage and assists. Last in this league in assists. You're not going to get far. And even with all that, still got 37 wins.
Exactly.
So if you just lift all those up, even just moderately, it's going to help in terms of at least get you to the 40 wins, 41 wins. It helps you at least be a 500 team, and then you work from there. This last and third and fourth quarter points scored. Just heard a stat. The team with the most third quarter points scored, I think in the past 10 years or so, it's Golden State Warriors. And they have the most rings in the past 10 years. So it's very important to come out strong in those third quarters. And a lot of that is starters.
A lot of it is also the coach mid-game adjustments, and that's the one thing you and I and the Knick Nation has been hard on Tibbs, is like, where is these mid-game adjustments, man? That's what we want to see.
We do. D Nice, OB is playing. OB
Good.
Has been cleared to play. He's not on the injured list, but I don't know how much he will play. But Grimes is out. But I don't know if you guys heard it earlier. If you guys missed it. Steve Popper tweeted out, and he said that the MRI came clean. He's pain-free. Grimes said he's pain-free prior to playing in New York Knicks' final preseason game on Friday, but the pain... Oh, this is from Begley. But the pain in his left foot flared up after that game. He said his foot started to hurt shortly before camp and then worsened during camp. Said he hopes to play Friday versus Detroit. But his recent MRI showed no structural damage, just inflammation. Just inflammation. That's sometimes a little worrisome, but they did an MRI, so let's just hope they didn't make a mistake and overlook something.
Can you say cortisone?
Yeah. I know, it's so early, though. Why bother with that? And also, This is good. Keep resting that foot. We need to see what Cam... Give him one more chance to really shine.
Actually, what I'd like to do is, with that situation, is move RJ back to the 2 and put Cam at the 3.
Actually, Keith and I talked about that in depth. That is RJ's natural position, and he'd gain that physique advantage that he kind of loses against threes.
Exactly.
So he'd regain that, and then he could even feast even more. I think we're going to see, and we did see it, but it's preseason. We're going to see Thibs experimenting a little more, much more this year than he has in the past, which is going to lead. That's part of the spread the mins and win coach of the year again. I think he's going to do possibly his best coaching that he's ever done this year with the Knicks. Because partially, he even said it himself. He has more. He didn't use the word weapons, but he used the word depth, and he has more tools or more flexibility now to do different matchups. And if Obi is hitting that 3-point shot, that's going to create a lot of possibilities for Thibs. I think if he's going to embrace the matchup strategy, exploiting situations, not just keep trotting the same 5 guys out each time. We're going to see a lot of that from Thibs, and I think it's going to lead to wins, and then he's going to keep going. He's going to double down on that. Once you taste a little success on something like that, you double down and say, let's try this, let's try that. So who knows? We might see stretches. We might see 10, 15-minute stretches where RJ is playing the 2. We might see IQ play the 2 next to Brunson. We might see Brunson, Rose, and IQ on the court together. We might see, finally, Julius and Obi small ball together. We might see doses of these different things. Now, it's all predicated on, it basically wins. If he tries it and we win, then he'll keep trying it. And that's my hope and feeling about that. You want to chime in on that at all, or?
No, I think you're right in that. If you keep doing the same thing and nothing works, that's insanity. So, him evolving and using the depth of this team, and also taking a step back, like you said, in matchups. This is a league of matchups, and just saying I can't be, template coaching like our boy JD says. You got to use your head and say what's our best. What's the lineup that gives us the best opportunity to win, and it changes night to night.
Yes.
And quarter to quarter.
Totally. All right, the next slide. Tale of 4 teams. This is offense stats. Foxy generated this. He compared the last 2 Knicks teams and the 2021-22 Memphis Grizzlies. And
that's actually the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. As you can see here, he's got the league rankings, which is awesome to see. Like in points, Knicks 26th the past 2 years. Dallas Mavericks 24th. Of course, Warriors were 15th, which is not as high as you'd think, but because Warriors played pretty good defense.
Exactly, but the Dallas Mavericks made the Western Conference Finals with the 24th rated, in points. So that's why, sometimes in the pace part is, what's next is fun. We were 30th in the year that we went to the playoffs. We were 29th last year, and the team that Brunson came from, they were 30th in pace, even with Luka. So it's like sometimes, the pace, but really the next one I think is really telling that the year that we went to the playoffs, we were 26th in 86.5 shots. Look at the world champions last year, 86.4. So that's why it's about field goal efficiency, folks. If you can shoot, it doesn't make a difference. They're not putting up more shots than us. They're just making more shots than us. And and that's where you see the world champions were 46-9. And when we went to the playoffs, we're 45-6. But the difference of 45-6 to last year's team, 43-7, it doesn't seem like a lot, from a numbers standpoint, but it's absolutely huge. And the same thing on 3-pointers, going from almost 40%, 39 and change in the playoff year in 2021 to 35-7 last year. And you could see last year, Dallas went to the Western Conference Finals shooting 35%, 19th in the league. So, it's really, really important. And you could just see on the offensive rating, and one of the things that George and I like on the 4 factors, and it's one of the key factors that Tibbs actually looks at, is both offensive effective field goal percentage and defensive effective field goal percentage. And that's where you're just seeing that the numbers, that it's just really critical for us. We went to the playoffs with a 23rd ranked team, and you could see that it was 1 basket from the world champions, at 112.5 that were 17th. So, it's really going to come down to, folks, us shooting better field goals. We can't be last, like George said, in 2-point percentage. We have to shoot well again from the 3-point percentage. 13 wasn't bad last year. You could see that Dallas was 19th, and with Stephon and Clay and everything, they were 8th. So that's totally attainable. But it's the next slide, folks. It really shows why there's world champions, and it comes down to defense. And what a difference, 1 year makes or 2 years makes from when we were in the playoffs. If you could bring up the defense slide. Sorry.
But before we get to that one,
yeah, sure.
Just wanted to highlight that I think a lot of these stats from the Mavericks, I'd be curious if we looked at how they performed in the playoffs. I think all of those relative rankings probably rise in the playoffs. That team played a little differently as the season went on. So, now we're looking at all 82 games here, but different sections. However, their e-field goal percentage, 53.8, that's a good e-field goal percentage for an offense. But look at 55.2. That's why they won it all.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
But also, when you take that and then the next one, the defensive one, the difference between the two, the problem with the Knicks last year was that we gave up more on the defensive effective field goal percentage than the offensive, and that's one of the things. Tibbs, that's you can't do that. You gotta.
Yeah. I was curious.
But I think your point was great.
3-point attempts, that would have been interesting here. I would love to have seen what where the Mavericks were in 3-point attempts and where the Warriors were.
Yeah, but I think Finney went crazy in the playoffs from 3.
Defense.
Yeah, so
here we go.
Yep. This is the key, folks, for us this season. So 2 years ago when we made the playoffs, look at that. First in points allowed, first in holding down to field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, second in defensive effective field goal percentage, third in defensive rating, ninth in total rebounds. That's where it starts for us going forward, folks. If we could, and that's again, Peyton and Reggie Bullock. I think those guys. We have the nucleus of we have Brunson, who I think is going to be okay, and so I think we could do it. But if you look at the world champion team, or you look at Dallas, those things, second in points allowed, that's the important parts. The field goal percentage, like I said, etc. If we can play great defense, anything can happen with this team. There's hope, folks.
Absolutely. But look at this. I mean, look at the other two teams. I mean, Warriors are in the top. They're in the top 3 of the first 5 categories, and then in total rebounds, they're 7th. Look at the Mavericks. Except for the total rebounds, they were top 6 defensive rating, top 6 defensive field goal percentage, top 4 3-point percentage, top 12 field goal percentage, top 2 points allowed. The key was they play the best defense. Those 2 teams were the last 2 teams standing in the West last season for a reason. Their defense was outstanding. Now, the Warriors' offense was much more outstanding, but I think the Warriors' offense was better in the playoffs than the rankings are here from last year, from the regular season. They just got better.
Yeah, but it shows you could have a top defense and be a top 10 offense and be a world champion. You don't have to be the top offense. Defense wins championships. You need to be up there. You need to be up there. Oh, no doubt.
Like a
top 10.
You got to be
exactly.
Top 10. Yeah, either one. You can either be a top 10 offense, meaning like from like 6 to 10, right? Offense. If your defense is in the top 5 of that, and then vice versa. So I love what we're seeing here. But you can see that the Knicks were a pretty decent defensive team last year.
We're there, exactly. We were a tweak away, man.
Yeah. It was the offense that killed us.
The offense. And I'll tell you,
in the 2020, sorry, what were you saying?
No, please, no, you.
In the 2020-21 season, remember, not only did we have Reggie Bullock and Peyton, but Peyton didn't play. Peyton played like 20-something minutes. He averaged mostly, so it wasn't just him.
Nerlens.
Nerlens. That's what I was going to. Yeah, Nerlens had an outstanding year that year defensively.
Elite shot blocker.
Yeah. And Randall had an outstanding year defensively that year. That was one of the key metrics for him getting into the All NBA at the end. That's what I read in terms of like a lot of people's opinions. It wasn't just his offense, obviously his offense, but it was more his defense combined with the offense. So it's in him. And then RJ, he was pretty good, for a rookie. Actually that was his second year. He was pretty good then. Not to the level that we want him to be, though. We want him to be much, much better defensively. But there you go. I mean, to wrap this up, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you can't win without playing defense in this league, which is why the Nets were always kind of a doomed team last season. And however, they have some better defensive players this year. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. Actually, that takes me to my next topic before we jump into the preview of the Memphis game. I'm wondering, Foxy, who is your surprise team potentially, like who do you think will be the surprise team from the East this year?
For some reason, Atlanta.
Really? Surprise
just
positively or negatively? Because it could be either
positive.
Way.
Yeah, exactly. I think you add Murray there. DeAndre Hunter is already an excellent defensive player. You have Capella. All of a sudden, they could be a very scary if they're a defense and you have Trey, who's Mr. Offense, and Hunter is a good 3-point shooter and all the other things. I think they could surprise a lot of people this year.
Interesting. In some ways, I could almost pick them, but for the exact opposite reason.
No, we could go either way. It's about chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. Chemistry doesn't, things go, once things go bad, sometimes it's hard to pull it out. You pull it back to the good side. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to be? But I mean, I think the team that is going to disappoint is going to be the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat have peaked 2 seasons ago. Last year they were still good and competitive, but I think the Miami Heat are gonna struggle.
They're getting older.
Yeah, Lowry's a year older. Jimmy Butler's
a year older. Exactly.
Yeah, Tyler Hero. Who knows what he's gonna? I mean, I know he got the big contract or whatever, but I'm not crazy.
$10 million more than RJ, man.
Yeah,
whoa.
He does. His defense is incredibly lacking. Bam's the one guy that makes me believe in the team. Makes me think, he's such a he's solidifying force on that team. Plays outstanding defense. When they need a bucket, he can give it to you. He's a smart player. He's really even keeled. But I think they could be the surprise disappointment of the East. By disappointment, doesn't mean they're going to finish last or anything. I just think they struggle. They struggle, and maybe they end up in the play-in even. That's my prediction on that one.
Yeah, I see our friend Stanley Mann said, "Don't sleep on Cleveland."
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't sleep on Cleveland. Don't sleep on Cleveland.
Well, you know what? I think Cleveland could be, but that backcourt of Garland and Mitchell doesn't scare me in the playoffs. Meaning, I think they can get wrecked in the playoffs by there's not much defense between those two guys.
Yeah. That's so true. I can see in the chat here, a brother agrees. He likes that. Nice. Oh, he agrees with me. Foxy, yeah, Cleveland. Well, the thing about Cleveland is, though, Evan Mobley, we're looking at him as making a leap forward this year. He's all poised for it. But I'm starting to feel that he's a little bit injury prone.
Those thin guys we saw.
We know Jared Allen is. He's been out.
Yep.
And Darius Garland also gets hurt. So that team the thing that keeps them from fully realizing their potential could be injuries this year.
Great point.
Now in the West, who's your surprise team? Either way.
I think Denver. You're getting back Jamal Murray, and if Michael Porter gets back his health, and you have Joker already there, and you have Bones Highland, it could be a dangerous team.
They were my favorite team a couple seasons ago, before Jamal Murray's injury. I loved them, man.
He went crazy in the bubble, that's for sure.
Yeah, but even before that, I was a big fan of his. I loved their team. I loved the way they played, their style of play. It was just so exciting. And then they have the benefit of being in Mile High in Denver. It's a big advantage for them. This year, again, injuries like that, especially Jamal Murray. I mean, who knows? Maybe he works through it, and by the playoffs, he's back in full condition. And then same thing with them. They have too many question marks in terms of health. I think if they're healthy this year, both those guys, I see next year they could be a serious contender for the title next year if those two guys are healthy. Because MPJ is the real deal. That guy's a bucket.
He is.
He's 2 buckets. I mean, he's a bucket. And then with Joker on there, it's phenomenal.
I've heard of 2 chains, but no 2 buckets.
What's up? Salute to the chat. Good to see you, Drew Licata, brother BKL, Tactics. I love that name. Adrian, Reality. Good to see you, brother. Evan Best. What's up, man? Salute to the chat.
Yeah, I agree with Adrian. Reality, man. Pelicans is scary.
Pelicans are interesting.
Yeah, Trey Murphy the third, second year, stronger in the off season. He just needs strength, but that's a 3-and-D that I love.
yeah. And then there's Zion.
Yeah, I'm just meaning. Then you throw in Zion, CJ, Ingram, and all the other parts there, and you're like Herb Jones, and you're like, whoa. And if Kira Lewis comes back from that injury and stuff like that,
yeah, they could be. My surprise team for the West is, I think Portland is going to be a little better than people think. They're not going to be, I mean, at best they're playing, because even the West they've all gotten healthier. Well, the Clippers are healthier, Nuggets are healthier. It just ends up pushing people out. The Mavericks, there's a lot of good teams there, but I think the Trailblazers are going to, people are like, oh, wow. I thought they were supposed to be terrible, and they're not. I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think they're going to be decent, and that's going to be surprising.
It could be scary if Sharp turns out, Anthony Simons and Damian. Wow, they could light it up.
They could light it up.
And also shout out to brother BKL Contreras talking about the Warriors. Yo, they're already stacked. Weissman, Moody, Kuminga. They picked a guy that George and I talked about, Rollins in the second round, that I think is a real sleeper. So they have all this young guys to step in and getting good minutes and great development from Kerr and Kenny Atkinson and everything. So brother BK Contreras, hope all is well with you and the family. I think that's a great catch, man. They're already stocked for the next generation of Warriors wins.
I don't think it would be a surprise. I think it's more of a surprise if health holds up, because we've seen it with the Warriors. However, I do think the Warriors are. I'm picking them to win it all again, back to back. I'm picking it, and a lot of it's because of what you talked about. They have a tremendous depth on that roster. Moody was fantastic during summer league. He had great stretches. We already know what Kuminga can do, and then Weissman, he's back.
Yeah, you can't teach 7-1.
Can't teach 7-1, so he helps solidify that. The BS between Draymond and Jordan Poole and stuff, I think that'll eventually work itself out. Stuff like that happens all the time. We just don't hear about it. That's the main issue. That's what maybe complicates it. But I think the Warriors are probably they're my favorite to win it again this year. From the East, well, who's your favorite from the West?
I'm gonna have to go again with Golden State. They're just the way we just saw here, starting with defense. Everybody, a lot of times people don't realize what a great defensive team year after year they are. So if they keep playing that D and they got those shooters there, and again, like you said, if they can remain healthy, somewhat healthy, I think they're the ones again.
Yeah, God, that'd be a great Western Conference final of the Los Angeles Clippers and the Golden State Warriors.
Let's see if Kawhi and Paul George can stay healthy for a change.
Look at the running theme here. If health allows.
Yep. Well, once you're over 30 years old, that's the scary thing with all those teams. They got guys in the other side of their prime.
Yeah, and the Clippers have John Wall now as well, who he has basically a year. He had a year of rest. Now that could turn into rust, but I think he's going to be highly motivated to come out and show the world that he can play well. Let's get to.
Boy, I had somebody say the nastiest thing ever to me in the chat. Johnny Rascal said I sound like Donald Trump. There's nothing about Donald Trump in my life I want to be anything like. That's really somebody I absolutely can't stand. So that's one of the nastiest things anybody could ever say to me.
Absolutely. Let's see. Is everything cool in the chat? Yeah, it's all. Let's just keep it about basketball, guys. So, yeah, Western Conference Final: Lakers, Warriors from the East. You want to go first?
Boston adding Brogdon. Brogdon is a really smart player, man. And if he can stay healthy again for the 15th time, but that's Gallinari comes back, but it's hard to go against Boston, man. With Tatum coming into superstardom, we saw last night that was a statement win.
It was. I was starting to believe in the Sixers, and then last night kind of made me really shake my head. But it's one game.
Yep.
The Bucks, though, the Bucks are healthy again, and
Chris is back. Chris is back.
That's right. And Giannis, he's gonna. I mean, I could see him wanting some revenge off of last year. So the Bucks and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that what we're thinking?
Yep.
How do you think it would be really crazy if all things went well in Cleveland and Mobley levels up? It could be the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals against either Bucks or Celtics.
I don't know. I think
that's a big leap. Is that too big of a leap?
It's just defense. I'm thinking defense. Mm-hmm. And until Cleveland shows me that they could be a real top defensive team, playoffs, that's all what it's about. So, they have the guys there in the paint and stuff. But like I said, Brunson and Dinwiddie destroyed Donovan Mitchell last year. So, folks, I am not missing us not having Donovan Mitchell. And you throw Garland in there, who's a small little guy, I could see him getting destroyed.
We have a question here. Question is this: who is the worst team in the season? What's your opinion, George Wax? In my opinion, between my thoughts is the Lakers. A worst team. Oh, worse between the Knicks or the Lakers? Is that the question?
Lakers, man.
I think the Knicks are going to be a better team than the Lakers.
Exactly. And it couldn't happen. And it couldn't happen to a nicer person.
Yeah. Let's check out the game here coming up. We got ourselves the very first game, and here's some tweets that came out. Ian Begley tweeted this out. He said, same starters as preseason for Knicks: Jalen Brunson, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. Quentin Grimes, general soreness and left foot, is out. Tom Thibodeau says Grimes is day to day and reiterates New York Knicks want Grimes to be pain-free before he returns. And that also gives chance for Mr. Cam Reddish. Stephen Bundy tweeted this out on replacing Grimes. Quote, Cam Reddish will get the first crack at it. So there it is. Tom Thibodeau, and Begley also tweeted out, Tom Thibodeau says Cam Reddish will be in the rotation tonight with Quentin Grimes out. That's exciting for him. I'm glad because, he only really got a few games to show off, and then he was put with a unit. He didn't really play much at all last year, Cam. He didn't play with the starters much, and then he had a new point guard. So some guys, it takes him a little more time to get accustomed. I'm holding out hope that he can finally get it together and show some passion out there and some understanding of where to be on the court.
I could see him bawling out in the front office saying, maybe we should have extended him.
Maybe. If he can do that, yeah. I want him to make Leon sweat in terms of
that's a good problem, yeah.
Re-signing him, yeah. It's a great problem. That'd be a great problem. So there we have it. It looks like we got Obi. Obi's back, and that's great news for us.
Yeah, it always scares me around the baseline and stuff like that with the cameramen and everything, them stepping on people's feet. They should do something different, the NBA, to protect the players.
Yeah. I think, it would require moving people back off the court a little more.
Oh, we can't lose money.
No, nope. Let's talk about Obi a little bit before the game's going to start. Actually, the game is starting. Shoot. All right. We're going to have to wrap it up. We'll have to talk about Obi later. Maybe Obi will be the star of the game.
God willing.
Memphis Grizzlies. I believe we can beat them.
So do I.
So let's do it. Let's make it happen. Defense matters, of course. Going to see this the new Knicks defense and the new offense, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I like the way they're sharing the ball. I went into training camp and the preseason not feeling so great about the team, and mostly the beginning of training camp because of the stuff I was hearing from Thibs, but I came out of the preseason feeling much more positive and invigorated by this team, especially when I went through the schedule and came up with the 47 wins. It just really felt that's very attainable for this team if things go in the direction that they should go with this team. So that's my feeling about there. You want to do your goodbyes, Foxy?
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you just said, 4 words, and Jalen we trust. So looking forward to, like I said, with you and the Knicks fans, us going through a journey of another season together, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. Love you guys.
Awesome. I appreciate Foxy come on here. Love you, man. Best
love you too.
Analyst around and draft. We're gonna have some draft videos.
Oh, I can't wait, folks. We're already talking. We're gonna have incredible draft shows.
Yes, we're not gonna wait until the off season. We're gonna have them earlier on because there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
with the draft for sure. And all right, well that's it, man. Let's hope. I think the Knicks are gonna win. I predict the win here tonight. I already did predict. I did a whole predictions video, but I do think they're gonna win tonight. And I appreciate that. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate all that. Brother Contreras, Adrian Reality. We serve 100 people. Thanks so much, everybody. Tactics, Hair Force One. Salute, brother. Favorite name out there. Sean Kearns. Good to see you, brother. Oh, Dare House. What up, man? Barrett is going to lock down on defense tonight. Yes, I love it. He loves to play against Ja. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.